a guy that JD was talking about on Monday when he was coming back from training camp was Jalen Royals. This is it's exciting, right? Because on our pre-draft shows, we were huge fans of this guy. Tasia was the one who brought him to the table in one of our pre-draft shows, the guy he liked. We were all huge fans of him. I think Tasia likened him to Jamar Chase, and you and I were like, oh, okay, we'll settle down here, buddy. But nonetheless, if he is anywhere near Jamar Chase, we're all going to love him. And so far, he's looking great. One of the guys who popped off to you, stood out to everybody that you saw out there. But Patrick Mahomes has kind of taken a liking to him, like a trust in him as far as what Andy Reid has said. And Jalen Royals also spoke about kind of coming in and coming into his own and learning from Patrick Mahomes. Here's Andy Reid and Jalen Royals.
Catching the football well, strong. Looks like the quarterbacks trust him. That's a big part of it. You can, as you watch, you just kind of you see who the quarterbacks are going to, and there's a certain trust that they're developing here in that kid. So that's, that kind of speaks for itself.
Him leaning on me and me just trusting in him, definitely that, and just learning from him and do what he says honestly. So in the meeting room, he tells me everything I need to do, and then off the meetings and stuff like that, while I'm just out here, he'll tell me corrections and stuff like that, and then obviously after the play, he'll let me know on the sideline. So definitely that. It's complicated, I would say, but like there's times where it's like I'm still a rookie at the end of the day, so I'm trying to learn everything, and he's wanting me to be up to speed, so it's just balancing that. So yeah.
So JD, you went to camp, as I mentioned, and you got to see this guy up close and in front of you, and you said he stood out to you. What excites you so much about what you saw from Jalen Royals, and also just hearing him talk about the trust that Patrick Mahomes already kind of has in him, and him trying to soak in the playbook as much as possible?
What it is. I do believe for a young guy, he only knows what he knows. And so what you can do with a young talent like Jalen Royals is look at that. Look how he stacks the corner. You can mold him. You can mold him the way that you want to. And so if Pat is coming to him, then he trusts the guy. He knows the guy's reliable. He has great hands. He runs great routes like you just saw up there. And he listens and he's coachable. And that's exactly what he wanted to be able to see. So a guy that is who's just making plays, who's doing everything right. Pat sees that. The coaches see it. They see it on film every single day. They see it at practice every single day. When they look in the meeting room, he's paying attention. His eyes not glazed over. He's taking it all in. And then you see him wanting to compete. But this is what they seen on film when you drafted him. And so they just wanted to make sure, hey, look, Jalen, so as long as you maybe don't know this or not, but we brought you in because we don't know what's going to happen with Rasheed Rice. We don't know what's going to happen with these other guys out here. So you got to come faster up to speed because we need you. We drafted you here for a reason. And so he understands that. And they're getting him prepared. It's not necessarily kid gloves that they're dealing with this guy, okay? Because he doesn't need kid gloves, and that's what as well. You can see when a guy shrinks back from responsibility. You could tell that. And then you see another guy that leans in. Jalen Royals is leaning into his role. He understands that. And the coaches are asking, giving it to him, and saying, yeah, you can do more. We're going to put some more on your plate. Can you do this? Yeah, coach, I can do that. And all he's doing, man, he's just going out there and he's performing. But guess what? He has a room full of talented guys around him who are not being selfish with their information and their knowledge. They're helping him out. They're teaching him how to run routes, how to get open, and how to do everything right. That's what it takes. I told you, Marcus, it takes vet to teach guys this. So it goes from Patrick and the vets in the room. He's watching Travis and how he's doing things. So he's learning and being immersed into this championship culture. It is a culture with the Chiefs. He understands that. He is here, and he is absolutely ready. And so what he's been showing out in practice is whatever you give this guy, he is willing, and he is able, and he is talented enough to do it. That's what I saw.
As far as like just looking at his route running, I know it's kind of frozen on my screen. I don't know what happened. But as far as his route running,
Yeah.
he doesn't look like a rookie out there. And it's very, very polished route running. And that's one thing that stands out to me as far as he looked like a guy who's like, because he's not a burner, right? He's not a 4-2 guy who's, he does a little bit of everything, right? He's a good combination of a Rashee Rice, of a Juju kind of guy who kind of does a lot of different things. And his yak ability, that's something we haven't really seen yet, right? But as far as what he can do and his route running and the stacking ability that we saw in the one clip there, I'm really excited about this kid. And when you saw him, where you're like, man, he doesn't look like a rookie. It's like to a guy who played the NFL for as long as you did. When you watch him play, you don't feel that as well, right? You see, like, man, like he doesn't run routes like a rookie does.
I wouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. There's some things, obviously, that I see on film that he can do better, for sure. Like some of those clips, I could be like, hey, man, get a little bit more flatter coming out of the route or out of the break. Don't round it off as much. Stick him at the top a little bit more so you can get a little bit more separation. Those are the things he's being taught. So, like you said, he still realizes he's still a rookie. He's still learning. But the reality is he has natural ability. And one thing that you need great hands. So he's catching everything thrown to him. That A+, right? He's got great hands. He understands. He's very coachable. All those little techniques and stuff, we're going to keep working on for him to develop to where it looks like he has a little bit more to him than that. And once you get a guy that has that ability, you could just build on it. You could just absolutely build on it. But I think the distribution, right? And like you seen the one on the one Hollywood Brown was underneath him and he has to run. Remember, I think we talked about this, that the ball needs to be probably the back pylon on this throw. When he comes out of the break, DB's almost getting on it. But Pat sees him that he's coming out of the break and he trusts he's going to come out of the break. And Pat's like, daggone, he was ready for that throw. Getting his head around when he needs to. That way he can catch the flight of the ball sooner than later. Those things are something that a guy that has been working on his craft knows. So, man, I just think with him, he's just going to be a great surprise. Imagine the ascension of Rashee Rice when he was his first year. Okay, we got a guy like that here. It may not be as fast as Rashee Rice, but he has ability to do some of the same things that Rashee Rice can do. Now, the yak yards is something else that Rashee Rice has to himself. He's just a big, strong guy. I'm not sure about Jalen Royals yet to that because we won't know that until he actually gets in, to a live game. But I'm sure Rashee Rice could help him out. Just talking about the process of what you do in this offense. So.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with the video there, but
So
yeah, I mean, I do know that what he brings, and when we drafted him, right, we didn't know, like you said, we didn't know what was going to happen with Rashee Rice, and we still don't know how many games he's going to be out. That the report is 2 to 4 games from Adam Schefter, so we'll see what happens with that situation. But I mean, there's going to be. And we don't know what's going to happen with Hollywood Brown's injury. If he's going to be out for the first 2 weeks, first week at all, we don't know, right? So there's a chance that we may see number 11 actually get in and kind of have to become a vet fast, right? To become a guy who's like, you're not just a rookie, you're going to be playing meaningful snaps for a team like a Super Bowl favorite. So it's an interesting situation to come into it for a rookie.
Well, I think, and also too, Andy and Nagy knows how to handle a guy like him. Okay, and Connor, Embry, that's in that room. They're not pressing him like, hey man, you got to be. They're not pressing him that way. They're not. Okay, it's a different type of need. Okay, and reliability with asking for this guy. Okay, so we're throwing a lot of things to you on your plate. We can see what you can handle. Hey, guess what? You moved up another step. We're gonna keep piling it on until we see that you can't handle. Then we'll pull it back some. Right? But he's been able to do everything they ask him to do. That's so encouraging, man, to know that. He's one of those guys that we found a treasure in this dude as a wide receiver. Like you said, Rashee Rice, don't quite know about it. Hollywood Brown, we talked about if he misses 1 game or 2, we got a guy in Jalen Royals who was there with another young guy in Xavier Worthy, who, and I need to talk about this. Xavier Worthy, his maturity shows too. When I was in the indoor facility and we were just kind of sitting there, nobody in, out comes the jugs machines. Here comes Xavier Worthy. I'm like, okay. Nobody had to ask him to do it. He comes out there, puts his helmet on, standing right there catching fireballs. Pew, 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 tsh, 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 snagging them all. And like right before that, the reason I noticed it because my grandson and my niece and nephew go over and they took a picture with him. I was like, y'all just out here just taking pictures with everybody. And they had a good time. And, you know, and I talked to Worthy. And I was telling him, man, I was like, yo, you know, you're very impressive your first year, getting everything down. He was just like, man, I appreciate that, man, for saying so and stuff. So I told him who I was and stuff. He's like, oh, okay. I said, man, you just keep growing. Just keep growing at it. I said, man, you're going to be a star. You are going to be an absolute star in this league. He said, thank you. I appreciate it. But the work ethic in itself, what he's putting in, this is what a young Jalen Royals could see from a young Xavier Worthy about what this thing needs. Okay. He's not sitting back, not forgetting the playbook, they are at attention in this meeting. They are learning and they are getting better. So when I sit there and I make a statement about Hollywood Brown, and I'm not really worried about the injury to him or Rashid Rice, even though it is concern, I'm not worried about it because I know that we're in good hands with the young guys that we have there in the room already. And more importantly, Marcus, I will say it this way. Not only am I just not worried about it, we got the best coachings in the business also too. So
yeah, best coaching from the coaches as well as the quarterback who Royals talked about, you know, getting a tutelage from on the sideline as well as in the classroom as well. So that's also to have a coach as your quarterback as well is also pretty nice too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's it. I talked to Mike Dana. Talked to Mike Dana too.
You talked to Mike Dana? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I talked to Mike, man. We had a good conversation, brother. And Mike, wholesome guy. And I was just telling him, man, I said, Mike, man, you've been doing everything out here. I said, when the coaches and the team talks about you, this is what I was telling him. I said, that's a great reflection about who you are. When you come out here with your heart and lunch pail, I said, I see the work that you do and the effort that you give. I said, man, you're a special guy. Other teams may not recognize it and stuff like that. I said, but for you, shoot. I said, that means all in the world. If you got that support from your coaches and your teammates, that right there, sir, and your family is what you need. That's the support you need. Fans and all this stuff is going to be behind you too. And so he's like, man, I really appreciate that, man. I really do. So yeah, it was good talking to you. Because I was thinking, I was like, man, I talked to Mike Dana. Had a good conversation with him. So yeah, man, these guys are just good dudes, man.
Yeah, no, all of them, everyone we've had on the show, past and present, and then you know the guys the ones you talk to, yeah, everyone they have a type of guy, and they're going for good character dudes, and all of them come across that way.
Brian Hong said, "I'm rooting for Scott Moore too, though. I am as well." Guess who was out there catching balls with Xavier Worthy doing that with the jugs machine?
Go to Brian's comment right before that, JD.
It don't even matter. I'm putting this up there. Guess who was out there with Xavier Worthy catching balls? Scott Moore, also from the jugs machine.
That's great.
So high character guy, man.
So, did you talk to this guy at all?
I didn't. I wanted to. That was the one I really wanted to talk to, but I was talking to, I think, you know, the coaches at the time. But I was like, hey, God, I should have went up to two and talked to Scott. So,
yeah, I mean, look, we have a lot of good dudes in that. We have a lot of talented guys in the wide receiver room. It's going to be interesting to see how it kind of all shakes out. I mean, even got Jimmy Holiday, who we've had on the show. I mean, I've seen highlights of his. He had some ridiculous catches. And you saw him. You said he flashed while you were there as well. Talk about Scott Moore also there. Elijah Badger is looking great too. There's a lot of dudes in that room. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when it comes down to cutdown day.
Holiday, I told you, Holiday looked good too.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Man, it was there was a dude. I don't really know him. I said what's up to him, man, because he made some impressive catches on the squad. I don't know if he'll make the squad. Little bitty dude. I don't call it.
Delana.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Delana, man. I was like, hey, man, I see you making plays out there. He said, man, I appreciate it. He was. He's making some plays. Shoot. So.
Yeah, him and Nico was talking about that because they both came from Fresno State. But Nico, I think he was at Cal or Stanford before he transferred to Fresno State. But he said when he was doing like hosting a youth camp, they have it. Some of the college, the student athletes host the youth camps for the colleges. Yeah, and he said Delane actually came was a youth attendee when he was coaching at I believe it was Cal or Stanford. I forget which one, but it was before he transferred to Fresno State. And then he said when I went to Fresno State. And Delana actually ended up coming there when I was there, and we ended up talking about how I was his youth camp coach.
Oh, okay. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Power to the short dudes.
Yeah. A lot of people from Fresno, man. There's a lot of guys out there from Fresno.
Yeah. Yeah, Fresno State has produced some dudes. Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, Fresno State, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.